So I now want to ask George Nolan, as the executive sponsor for the food service customer sat team, to come up, introduce that team.
Kate can come up too. So one of the principles of lean is, you take a look at things that you're already doing that you think you're doing well, and you ask yourself, can we do it better? And one of the things that food services looked at was how we collect data on how the patients think we're doing as far as food quality and service and safety, things like temperature. And we were collecting surveys. We're asking a few questions. This had been going on for a few years. And when we took a look at the process, we realized that there was a certain bias that was built in, and Scott and the team will tell you about that. And so we decided that we'd put that through an A3. And the results of that are here.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'd like to first introduce my team here. Julia Kucher, Natalie Hamill. The little shout out for Carl in the back there.
Hey,
Carol Cody, dietitian. Is she in the room, Carol? She was part of the team as well. And Jermaine Lefebvre, one of the volunteers. I'd like to also add that as part of our A3 process, we had also 2 patients that were involved with this project. So, with further ado, George already stole a lot of my thunder here with the intro, but we were tasked with kind of reinventing the wheel. We had a process in place, but we needed to improve it. George mentions the biased approach, but we also didn't feel that the previous survey lent itself well to continual process improvement. As well, even though this is not part of the Press Ganey process that the hospital goes through, we wanted to align it similar to that. So that's where we're at.
So when we did our old surveys for the patients, I would bring them up with the menus and survey them with the patients, but they would always tell me that everything, all the food was great, was good. For instance, I can give you an instance when I went into a patient's room and they said, oh, the food was great and everything was really good. And then when I stepped out, there was a housekeeper in there and the patient says, oh, the food is really terrible, it's really... So I figured they were afraid to tell me that the food was bad because they were afraid we were going to do something to the food that they came out. So we had to figure out a new way of doing our surveys.
So some of our goals and targets that we looked at 5 attributes: temperature, taste, appearance, service, and variety. We looked to possibly achieve at least a 90% overall rating for the always and usually. We looked at, and we were going to survey this all second day inpatient, and tried to get at least a 20% return rate with those surveys. Press Ganey right now, as of yesterday, found out is around 33%. So we're shooting for 20 for this initial launch, and the financial impact is minimal. It's a little bit of office supply cost down in my office. That's it.
All right, and then after we had our target sets, we had to determine how do we get there. And I had the pleasure of calling surrounding hospitals and speaking with their food service directors about their processes that they did. And then once data was collected, we created our focus group, and consisted of lean, food service, nutrition, and volunteers, but best of all, former inpatients. What is a better way to get information that we want to improve on than talking to the main people? They helped us identify the important attributes we wanted our new survey to cover: temperature, taste, service, portion size. And then they helped us determine how often they wanted to be surveyed, and we determined day 2 inpatients on a weekly survey.
Before you have a new process a new process card, okay? And that is given to every 2-day inpatient person by Julia. Okay, when you open it, the rest is self-explanatory.
Okay, now when we do our surveys, I have a admission bed sheet roster, tells me how many days the patients have been in. So all our 2-day patients, I will clip a new survey to it, to the menu for lunchtime. They go on the tray along with a pencil. When it comes down the line, I will open that survey so that the patient is visible to the patient. Then they will go up, the tray passer will pass those, pass the trays, and the ones with the surveys on it, she will let them know that there's a survey there that they could take if they would like to.
So up to now, this is where we're at. Some of the results that we've seen so far is that our safety and quality, our overall rating is at that 90% or better for always and usually. Again, we haven't changed the second day inpatient process. Our participation rate is actually better than the 20%. We're currently at 28. We're currently at 31 for the data I have down in the office, and through September it was at 28%. And the costs have not changed at all.
And to reflect on some of our insights, we have developed a unique process that isn't found at many other hospitals. When I called other places, they either did a process similar to our old one, or they would call patients after they went home. We thought that we were 5 steps behind, but now we're 5 steps in front of them.
And the actions and require sustained to or build upon our changes is to let the patients know that there's a survey there that they can take at their leisure time, you know, and then it will get sent back to us.
And I guess the biggest challenge is because we can't do any prompting, we're not in the room with the patients, is when that information comes back to us based on the attributes, if there's no comments left on the surveys, we've got to try to determine how do we put action in place to correct any issues that might be on those surveys or any data, any negative data trends that might be occurring. So.
Any questions for the food service customer sat team?